back, everyone, to another episode of the Body and Mind Strong podcast. My name is Renee, your host and integrative wellness coach. My mission with Body and Mind Strong is to help active, busy women like yourself reclaim their health, their strength, and their sense of self in a way that's sustainable and actually fits their life. We are in episode 50 today, which is awesome. And we're going to be talking about journaling. And before you give me that look because you think it has to look a specific way, let me stop you right there. Yes, I know that look, the one that have gone more than a few times. Journaling is one of those tools that can be incredibly powerful, but it often gets boxed into one narrow idea. Sitting down with a beautiful notebook, writing pages of deep thoughts, and doing it perfectly every single day. And let me tell you, that is just not reality for most people. The truth is, journaling is what you make of it. It can be structured or messy. It can be short or detailed, and it can be emotional or practical. Journaling is what you make of it. But the whole point of journaling is to get what's in your head out so you can improve self-awareness, reduce stress, boost emotional intelligence, enhance memory. You can also foster creativity, increase motivation to achieve goals, and you can provide a structured way to track personal growth, or basically simply just clear mental clutter. All right, first things first, let me tell you a few things about journaling. One, there is no right or wrong way to journal, and it's very personable. Pick the style that works for you and your brain. 2, start small. Just like I talk about everything else, you always start small, especially if you haven't been journaling for a minute or so. So like, let's say you haven't been journaling, let's say in years, don't start to try to journal for like 20, 30 minutes daily. Start small. Number 3, there are different types of journals, like paper journals. There's guided, lined, dotted, or blank. And then when it comes to journaling, you can also think outside the box, like there's also audio, video, and even Canvas. All right, let's talk about the types of journaling there is. You have the gratitude, positive, and affirmations, positive beliefs externally and internally. And I like to, myself, when I'm talking with my clients, I like to kind of split gratitude and positive in two kind of different categories. I like to see gratitude as more external, and positive is more internal. And I know you can do external and internal for both, but that's kind of like how I'd like to draw the line and separate, because that's just how my brain works. All right, the next one is manifestation, which is, of course, the intentions of what is yet to come. And a version of this is like vision boards, right? We've all heard of it. We probably all have done it. And vision boards are just another type of journaling. There's the free flow, which I mentioned earlier, and that is a very valid one as well. If that works for you, awesome, roll with it. There's bullet points, bullets, like grids. And this is one I kind of had to look up because I've always seen the grid, like the dots, the dotted journals, and I had to look it up because it's one of those ones I just never quite got. But using those dot journals are designed just to provide structure for writing while remaining unobtrusive for drawing or sketching. So it just allows you, so instead of having to follow the lines, it just allows you to write wherever you want to write or draw while you're writing or doing. It kind of gives you more of that freedom with that. All right, another kind is reflective or like daily journaling. So like writing down daily events, daily thoughts, feelings, self-awareness, things that you come around, so forth. There's art, which is drawing, painting, sketches. You can even use colors to express emotions. And so there's a lot, there's even art therapy, right? So there's a lot around art you can do as well. And with art, there's also creative writing. So you can write stories and poetries, and that's a great way to get kind of emotions and thoughts out onto paper. There's letter writing, and there's a couple ways you can go about doing this. The one is you can write to your future self, which can be motivational, and it can help remind you of good things. Because, we go through periods where we hit plateaus or we just have rough days. Seeing that letter, reading, hey, there's actually was good times, helps remind us there was. And we know that we're just in a moment that's just not the funnest, right? There is in therapy, mental health therapy, there is letter writing to kind of writing to someone, but you do not send it. Actually, I always encourage to destroy it after you do this. And it's a great way to kind of come to terms, acceptance, forgiveness for whatever that situation is. And especially with this one, if that's something you're interested in doing, I would highly recommend getting connected with a counselor or a therapist and processing it with them afterwards, because it can bring up a lot of emotions. All right, another one is guided journals, which is just has prompts to help guide you with your writing and self-discovery. There's logging, so like logging sleep, mood, fitness, food, and that's a really great way to track progress as well. There's dream journaling, which is to analyze your subconscious thoughts. And especially this one is awesome. If you really have some really crazy dreams or really good dreams, you can even write a novel with it. You'd be amazed like when you get out on paper what it looks like. All right, now why should we be doing this? Why should we journal? Well, first, goal tracking, productivity, watching our progress, seeing how we're changing, right? Mental health, it helps process emotions or trauma. And like I said, it helps get out of your head so you can actually see it. When we're able to actually see it on paper, on canvas, or out onto something, it actually helps us view it differently than when it's in our head. Journaling increases clarity and self-awareness. Helps you better understand your own behaviors, your motivations, and your triggers. You can help find patterns, both healthy and unhealthy. So both healthy, I like to say both because we're journaling, we always look for the unhealthy, but it's also to look for the healthy ones as well, to see, hey, I am doing these things right. I am on the right path, like the right path for this. And it helps reinforce your strengths that you have. It helps seize your progress in life, like I mentioned earlier. And you've heard me say it before, and I like to call this talking to your future self. It helps you solve problems and helps you make decisions. And the final one, and this is probably the most important one, is you get to buy some really cool notebooks. All right, to wrap this all up, as a health and wellness coach, I strongly encourage all my clients to journal while they're on their journey with me because it can be such a powerful tool for growth and self-awareness. It creates space to reflect, recognize patterns, process emotions, and it can even help you celebrate progress that might go unnoticed otherwise. And when you have this kind of clarity, it becomes so much easier to make meaningful changes that lead you towards a healthier, happier, stronger version of yourself. All right, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to my podcast or tell someone else about it. I would greatly appreciate it. You may also find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and my website at Body and Mind Strong. And also, if this episode resonates with you and you're ready for more clarity, balance, and support in your wellness journey, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me at renee@bodyandmindstrong.com, or even reach out to me if there's a topic or something you would like to cover, like me to cover on a podcast. Definitely reach out to me, email me, message me on like Instagram or LinkedIn, and just let me know what topics if there's something you would like to hear more about, educational, whatnot. All right. I hope you all have a great day and make sure you're doing at least one thing today that gets you one step closer to one of your goals. Till next time.